We set off on a small boat from Lagos Marina, following the coastline south. Almost immediately, the cliffs began to rise around us. Tall, rugged walls of limestone shaped into sharp edges, curves, and hollowed spaces by the Atlantic over thousands of years. As we moved away from the marina, the color of the sea changed. The water turned from deep blue to lighter shades of turquoise and green, so clear that we could see the rocks beneath the surface. As we continued along the cliffs, the skipper pointed out a house, perched high above the water, standing apart from everything else along the coast. From the sea, it didn't look like a typical villa. It felt more like a private fortress, built directly into the rock. The property, valued at about €27 million, is perched on a dramatic coastal site with panoramic views over the Atlantic. It is so exclusive that it includes what's been described as a private island connected by a historic bridge. We continued along the cliffs, weaving in and out of narrow passages where the rock walls rose close on either side. In places, the sea had cut deep grooves into the stone, creating tunnels just wide enough for the boat to pass through. Between the caves were small hidden beaches, tucked away between steep rock faces. These tiny strips of sand were only accessible from the sea, and felt completely untouched, sheltered from wind and crowds. This rock is called the Coria Rock, named after the ex-Ecuadorian president, Rafael Coria, because it has a head without any brain. We had originally planned to see the Benagil cave from the sea, but the Atlantic had other ideas. The tide was exceptionally high that day, and the sea was rough and restless. From the coast, it was clear why the boats weren't going out. Waves surged hard against the cliffs, and the swell made it unsafe for smaller vessels to enter the caves. Rather than abandon the plan entirely, we decided on an alternative. We took a taxi east along the Algarve coast to Benagil Beach, a small fishing cove tucked between steep limestone cliffs. The drive itself followed a beautiful stretch of coastline, passing quiet villages and glimpses of the sea below, until the road narrowed and dropped us close to the beach. From there, we began the walk upward. The trail leading up from Benagil Beach is unmarked in places and slightly uneven, but well worn by visitors making the same journey. As we climbed, the sound of the waves faded slightly, replaced by the wind moving through low coastal vegetation. The path followed the edge of the cliffs, offering wide views of the Atlantic. Reaching the top, the landscape flattened out into a rugged plateau of limestone and scrub. A perfectly circular opening appeared in the ground, the famous skylight of Algar de Benagil. Looking straight down through the opening, we could see sunlight pouring into the cave below, illuminating the sand and the restless water inside. Waves crashed into the cave, their movement visible from above, echoing faintly upward through the opening, making it clear why, on this day, the boats couldn't enter it. From this vantage point, the scale of the cave became clear. The skylight wasn't small. It was wide enough to flood the interior with light, creating a natural dome open to the sky. The edges of the opening were smooth and rounded, shaped patiently by erosion over thousands of years, with no sharp lines or symmetry. Just nature's slow, deliberate work. It was also obvious why access from above is restricted. The ground near the opening felt fragile, and the rock dropped away sharply. We visited Ponta da Piedade the next morning under a clear daytime sky. When the coast reveals itself in sharp detail rather than dramatic shadows, by mid-morning, the light was bright and even, allowing the colors and shapes of the cliffs to stand out clearly against the Atlantic. From the moment we reached the cliff paths, it was obvious why this stretch of coastline is so distinctive. The limestone formations here are not uniform or smooth. They are jagged, sculpted, and deeply eroded, shaped by centuries of wind and waves. In daylight, the rock shows its full palette: warm yellows, pale creams, and darker orange streaks, where the stone has weathered more deeply. The sea below looked calmer than the previous day, but still powerful. In the bright light, the water shifted between deep blue farther out and lighter turquoise closer to the cliffs, where the sandy bottom and submerged rock formations were visible. Looking down from above, you could see waves wrapping around the base of the cliffs, surging into narrow inlets and retreating again, repeating the slow process that created these shapes. We followed the walking paths along the cliffs, stopping frequently at the viewpoints. From above, the rock stacks and arches are easier to understand as a system: tall pillars rising from the sea, connected by narrow bridges of stone, some already broken away, others still holding on. Several of the formations resemble figures or animals when seen from certain angles, something that becomes clearer in full daylight when the edges are sharply defined. One of the striking aspects of Ponta da Piedade during the day is how close everything feels. From the paths, the drop to the water below is sudden and dramatic, yet the views are open and unobstructed. There are no tall buildings, no artificial structures dominating the landscape, just cliffs, sea, and sky. We paused at several overlooks, where the caves are visible from above. From this height, the entrances appear as dark openings cut into the base of the cliffs, with the sea moving in and out of them. Unlike seeing the caves by boat, where the experience is intimate and enclosed, seeing them from above gives a broader perspective, showing how these hollows fit into the larger structure of the coastline. The soundscape was simple and constant. Waves breaking below echoed faintly upward, mixed with the calls of seabirds circling overhead. In the bright daylight, the cliffs also revealed their texture: rough pitted surfaces, where small plants cling to cracks in the rock, surviving in an otherwise harsh environment. We visited the Slave Route Museum in Lagos, housed in a small white building in the old town, close to the old harbor. From the outside it looks modest and unassuming, but the history it contains is heavy and difficult to ignore. This building is believed to stand on the site of Europe's first slave market, established in the mid-15th century. Lagos was a key port during the early years of Portuguese maritime expansion, and it was here that enslaved Africans were first brought in large numbers to be sold on European soil. The exhibits trace the beginnings of the transatlantic slave trade, showing how exploration, commerce, and exploitation became tightly intertwined. Maps and panels explain the routes taken from the West African coast to Portugal and onward to the Americas. These routes later expanded into a system that would forcibly displace millions of people over centuries. One of the most striking aspects of the museum is its simplicity. Rather than overwhelming visitors with artifacts, it focuses on context and human impact. Illustrations, texts, and reproductions help explain how enslaved men, women, and children were captured, transported, and sold, often stripped of identity and family in the process. There is also attention given to the role Lagos played, not as an abstract historical point, but as a real place where these events unfolded. Standing in this town today, with its cafes and narrow streets, it is unsettling to realize that these same streets once witnessed human lives being traded as property. The museum does not attempt to soften the narrative. It acknowledges Portugal's role in initiating the slave trade and places it within the broader European and global context.